Hey, y'all. Welcome to the Undrunken Podcast. I'm your host, Courtney, and each week we talk real life beyond the bottle. What it means to dump the drink, live life fully, freely, and undrunken. Let's get into it. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Undrunken Podcast. I'm your host, Courtney, and today we're going there. We're going to talk about something that started, it started when I interviewed Katie back, over 2 years ago. She was one of my first guests. And then it came up again when I was doing kind of like a research rabbit hole for the dry dating webinar. And it just turned into a much bigger idea. Because as I was learning about dating without alcohol, what people miss, what changes, what actually improves, I found myself thinking about connection. And not just romantic connection, but connection to yourself. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about sobergasms. That's the trending word, sobergasms. That's not what Katie called it. She just basically said that her intimacy with her husband went just through the roof. It was amazing. I'll link her episode so you can check that out. And then it came up again when I was doing this research. And now here's the thing, it's a concept. So before you go grabbing your pearls, I'm not going to just talk about sex. Sobergasms, the way I'm thinking this concept, are about feeling again, feeling life, joy, attraction, all of it in high definition. Like there's a myth, right? Intimacy myth, we'll say. We've been sold this idea that alcohol is how we connect. It's what makes us flirt better, loosen up, relax, be fun. But the truth, it's a disconnect disguised as connection. When you remove the alcohol, you start noticing how much of what we call chemistry is just chemical. And that realization, at least for me, is kind of wild. Like for me, quitting drinking slowed everything down in that department. I used to think alcohol gave me the confidence, but really what it did was it blurred my standards. And now that I'm living life undrunken, it takes so much more for me to actually find someone attractive. I mean, sure, I can recognize and acknowledge a handsome guy, but physical attraction just barely moves the needle anymore. If there's not depth, presence, or like emotional substance, I don't feel anything. I feel nothing. It's like my radar got recalibrated. And at its core, I'm no longer fooled by these surface level charms or what you might call bar talk, right? Like I need real energy, real conversation, real connection. And yeah, that slowed things down, but in the best possible way. And here's the thing. There is real science behind all of this. Alcohol numbs your body's sensitivity. It numbs all of your sensitivity, your nervous system, your hormones, even your arousal response. Basically, it's like putting a wet blanket over your body's ability to feel. So when you dump the drink, your senses start to reawaken. You feel more touch, more emotion, certainly, more energy, more pleasure. And that's where this sobergasm concept comes in. It's a spark of aliveness when you're not numbed or detached. You're fully in your body, not performing or pretending. Sobriety ish, right, teaches that pleasure isn't found in escape, it's found in presence. So let's expand this idea a bit. So sobergasms, way beyond the intimacy. Sobergasms are those moments when you feel completely alive. The laughter that makes you cry or your stomach hurt, the way music just hits you differently. Even that first sip of coffee in the morning, like it just tastes different. It's feeling connected and clear, grounded, and sometimes overwhelmed. But you know what? I'll take that over numb any day. Undrunken gives you back the full color version of life. And with that comes a new relationship to pleasure. And not just sexual pleasure, but the kind that comes from truth, connection, and authenticity. You know, so what I've realized through this process and through these conversations around dry dating is that when we stop drinking, we don't lose connection, we actually find it. We stop outsourcing confidence, chemistry, and energy to a glass and start creating it from within. And honestly, that's where the real high is. It's not buzzed confidence, it's not blurred attraction, it's grounded, electric feeling of being fully here. That that's the sobergasm. So, I don't know. Maybe this is your invitation to look for your own sobergasm moments, the ones that make you feel fully alive, unfiltered, connected. And as always, if this episode resonated, I would love to hear from you. So be sure to tag me on Instagram at Undrunken Podcast or hit me up with a DM. I want to hear your sobergasm story. PG or not, we're talking about presence here, people. Until next time, stay awake, stay connected, stay undrunken. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend. You can tag me on Instagram at Undrunken Podcast. I love hearing from you. Take care of yourself and keep making good choices.